What's up, everybody? Carolina Jackpot coming at you Sunday afternoon and kind of recapping yesterday's goings on in the world of college football. This is my winners and losers from yesterday's action. 5 big winners and 5 big losers, and we're going to go over those real quick. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and let's argue or let's discuss. First big loser, of course, well, this is not one of my 5, but my picks from Friday night that I made against the spread, albeit I didn't throw as much research into some of these as I normally do. Normally it takes me about 2 hours or so to come up with these point spread predictions of the 20 games I do. This time I just did it off the cuff because last week was just so overwhelming. However, 7-13 against the spread. Now, last week, in week 1, I went 11-9. There were some kind of tough games to pick yesterday. A lot of teams kind of surprised me with the results yesterday, and also, and on the Friday night, I had TCU not covering the spread against Texas A&M. Of course, they did. Or SMU. What am I talking about here? Not Texas A&M. It looked like SMU was going to cover the spread early, but they didn't do it. Some other losers as far as that goes were Georgia Tech, Kansas State, Georgia State, North Carolina, South Carolina, Iowa State, Arkansas, Rice, BYU, Nebraska, and then Oklahoma. So, yeah, some of those teams, they almost covered the spread. They didn't. Oklahoma won by 28. The spread was 30. I picked them to cover it. They lost Rodney Anderson before the end of the first half on that one. I feel certain that they would have exceeded that spread. If not, a couple of them that I did nail, Buffalo, covering the spread there and winning that game. Arkansas State, Penn State, won big. So there were some good picks there as well. But here are my big losers from yesterday. Number 1, Florida State. What's wrong with this program? They have really fallen off the mark. Yes, they did win yesterday, but they won 36-26 against Samford. Not Stanford, Samford, an FCS school from the Southern Conference. And trailed for most of that ball game. Now, I don't know really what's going on at Florida State, and I think that a lot of the recruiting and player development stuff that Fisher neglected the last season and a half at FSU is kind of manifesting itself now. You can't lay that on Willie Taggart's doorstep. This guy's doing what he can. I think he'll get that program turned around, but it's going to take a while. I think he's a good coach, but once again, he's in a little bit over his head. He has not stayed anywhere for any more than a cup of coffee, so it remains to be seen if he can do it. I think that he has the ability to, but we'll see. I don't know if they're going to give him enough time, though. If you start losing there, they're going to put you on a short leash. Florida Gators. 26-17, what was it? Was that what it was? 26-17. You lost to, no, it was 27-16. Excuse me. You lost since the first time since 1986 to Kentucky. I have more faith in y'all than that. I did a video Saturday morning. I predicted Florida to cover the spread there and win by several scores. What happened to y'all? What in the world is going on down there? How could you look so bad in that game? And you looked pretty good against Charleston Southern. Well, I guess the level of competition does some things to you. Florida is nowhere near the kind of program they used to be. Kentucky improving. Every year it seems like, we think Kentucky's only going to win 3 or 4 ball games or not, but they always end up winning 6 or 7 somehow. They're a little bit better than a garbage program, but they're not quite good enough for me to consider them as a good program. And I know, going ahead and say, they won 4 in a row against y'all guys. Well, you know what? We hadn't proven ourselves. We're about on their level. Right now. South Carolina is. Another huge loser yesterday, North Carolina. What in the world happened to y'all? Yeah, I know y'all had players suspended. But, come on, y'all. East Carolina is one of the worst teams in FBS. They are. They lost last week 28-23 at home to an FCS team, North Carolina A&T. What happened to UNC in 2015? This was one of the surprise teams in the nation. You had one of the best offenses out there. It was electric. Larry Fedora had balls flying all over the place. Had Marquise Williams throwing touchdown passes. You had Ryan Switzer out there. What do you got now? You guys are really bad. You went on the road and absolutely got drugged by East Carolina, a team that lost to an FCS team last week, a team that I predicted to win like 2 games this year. Really, really bad, and sad state of affairs there for the UNC Tar Heel program. I definitely think Mr. Fedora is probably on the way out the door. If not at the end of the season, possibly before the season is over with. UNC's not they have an above-average history in football. I wouldn't say they have a great history. They've had a lot of really good years. They've had a lot of mediocre years in there too. But more often than not, they've had a winning season. And this is just not going to cut it. Arkansas. Colorado State was 0-2. They got absolutely manhandled last week by their in-state rival, Colorado, on a neutral site in Denver. But, how neutral can you get in Colorado? There's not, it's a big state, but, there's only 2 schools out there of major importance. And, you go out there yesterday and you lose to them. They had also lost to Hawaii in the opening game of the season. They got blown out. And you guys, SEC West team, which is notably the stronger of the 2 divisions in the SEC, you go on the road to Colorado State and you lose. I don't see how that happens. Chad Morris, you guys got to do a little bit better than that. You looked pretty good last week. You gave up a ton of points to, who was it, like Eastern Illinois, what are they, like the Leathernecks or something? Y'all gave up a ton of points to them, but you scored a ton. It was like, 55-21 or something this week? Whew, bad performance. The last big loser, in my opinion, Kansas State. Yes, I know Mississippi State is a good team. They have an outstanding quarterback. And yesterday they had a running back emerge, Kylan Hill, 211 yards, a couple of scores for the Bulldogs. But, they just beat you down on your home field. Kansas State does not lose, or in the past they haven't lost a lot of games at the Bill Snyder Family Stadium in Manhattan, Kansas. But, yesterday, just embarrassing beatdown. I think that's a sign of a downturn in your program. And you guys, normally play pretty staunch defense, especially at home. This was a game that I think that you guys should have covered the spread, and I feel like you should have won that game. Last year you lost to Vanderbilt. This year you're losing to Mississippi State at home. Of course, and that Vanderbilt team last year did not turn out to be a good Vanderbilt team. And you make a bowl game, so y'all guys, you got to do better than that. A lot of improvement there. Winners from yesterday. Number one, and I'm not doing this because I'm a homer, you have to give credit to the Georgia Bulldogs. They looked good yesterday, didn't it? They looked real good. No drop-off at all from losing Sonny Michel, Nick Chubb. They ran the ball at will against my Gamecocks, especially in the second half. The third quarter was the telling story in that game. They absolutely owned the third quarter, and the fourth quarter was just it was just a formality. They didn't even have to play it. Would they get 3 touchdowns in the third quarter? We looked bad defensively against the run. We couldn't run the ball to save our lives. I got a lot of Gamecock fans that are harping at me. Well, we abandoned the run too early. We ran the ball only 12 times first half. Dude, you wasn't getting nothing. We had 3 running backs back there. None of them were getting anything against that Georgia line. It was a test of wills at the line of scrimmage, and we got whipped, especially in the second half. First half, we were actually moving the ball against them a little bit. But Georgia looked good. DeAndre Baker, his credit, he shut Debo Samuel down. He was not a factor in the game except for the 1 touchdown pass he threw. Rodrigo Blankenship kicked the ball through the end zone most every time. I think that'll be the game plan against Debo every game this year. Every team is going to bring out, even if the guy that's handling the kickoffs is not their accurate kicker for extra points and field goals, if it's somebody that can put the ball in or through the end zone, that's who they're going to put out there. Even if it's an offensive lineman. They're not going to give this kid a chance to return many balls this year because they know what he can do. Georgia looked good yesterday, and they deserve to be in the winners column of my top 5. Arizona State, the Sun Devils, Herm Edwards goes 2-0. come from behind victory. They were down 13-3 against Michigan State, number 15 ranked Michigan State. And they come back, they win 16-13 on a last-second field goal. I think Arizona State, maybe a little bit too early right now to say, a little bit too early because Michigan State didn't look good last week against Utah State, but they're always a team that starts slow. So we thought, that was just a hiccup. They'll be able to easily take care of Herm Edwards, and they didn't do it. So maybe they're just not as good as people are thinking. So the jury's still out on Arizona State, but as for right now, they deserve to be in my 5 winners because they came back and had a really good victory at home last night over a ranked team. Duke goes on the road, 21-7. Not only do they cover the spread, their defense plays great against Northwestern. Northwestern had won on opening week against Purdue, 21-17. Duke really impressive. Northwestern's not a hostile environment to go into really and win a game, but still it was a road game and it was also a revenge spot. I thought the Wildcats were going to definitely be ready to come out and take it to Duke after they embarrassed them last year on the road, and they didn't do it. Duke makes it 2 in a row over the Purple, 21-7, taking down Pat Fitzgerald's guys. Here's another one for you. Kansas, the Jayhawks. Right? They are now 1-1. Opening week, they lost at home to Nicholls State, an FCS team. If you'll remember, everybody's talks about Nicholls State back in 2016, the first year Jacob Eason was at quarterback for Georgia. I think it was the first year he was at quarterback. Yeah, it was. And they almost beat the Bulldogs in Kirby Smart's first game. Kansas lost to them last week. Kansas goes on the road yesterday and beats Central Michigan 31-7. This is a team that gave Kentucky a fit last week. So Central Michigan, plays a lot of FCS Power 5 teams every year trying to bolster up that strength schedule. Kansas goes on the road, beats them 31-7. Kansas had not won a road game since 2009. 46 losses in a row. And that was the second longest losing streak of road games in the country. I don't know who's got the longest right now. I really don't. But that was an excellent job by Kansas with a 31-7 victory over a team that was favored to beat them. And they go on the road. They get it done. Good job there. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. Penn State, last big winner of the day. They had a road game last night against Pittsburgh. Their rival from on the other side of the Keystone State. Last week, they had to go to overtime to beat Appalachian State at home in Beaver Stadium. And, I called this one. I said, I think they're going to come out there and they're going to smack Pittsburgh in the mouth because I don't think they were focused last week when they took on App State. There was no way that App State should have taken them to overtime. The Trace McSorley went off, had a great game last night. They beat them like 51-52-6. Penn State is definitely a force to be reckoned with, and I think it's going to be them and Ohio State there tangling for the top spot in that Big Ten Eastern Division. That's my winners and losers from yesterday in college football, guys. Feel free to comment down in the comment section below. If you like the content here, please make sure you share the video to your favorite social media site that you like to frequent, whether it be your Facebook, your Twitter, or your just whatever. I don't care. Just get the word out there. When you get some more subs, get some more involvement here on the channel. So I do enjoy making these videos for you guys, and I plan on doing this every week on Sunday this year. Stay tuned. More good stuff to come. Carolina jackpot time. Peace. And I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Still, Spurs up till my toes up, baby. Beat Marshall.